Hey guys, this is your girl Jennifer Lynn, the Crown Jewel, and I am back with another YouTube video. So I just wanted to do this quick video. I am still in my bedtime clothes. Basically all day has been bedtime day. So you may as well say that this is bedtime chronicles. I've had a long 2 days. Usually when I'm traveling and I return home, I usually have to take a couple of days to recoup. Very rewarding work, but it's a lot of work. So yeah, I'm trying to get my energy back in place. But I wanted to do this video. I feel like God has been downloading a lot that I can share with you guys, and so I wanted to do this quick video. And this is mainly a video for people that don't know who their kingdom spouse is. It can count for people that know who their kingdom spouse is, but really, when I thought about doing this video, I thought about doing it for the people who did not know who their kingdom spouse was. And so the title of this video is, Do They Have the Heart of God? Do they have the heart of God? And so, what I mean by that, for those of you guys who don't know who your kingdom spouse is, when you come in contact with a potential person that you feel like maybe God has maybe sent them for you, you may have just met them, you guys may be going on a couple of dates, and you're trying to see if this is the person that God is sending for you, if this is going to be a potential lifelong partner. There are certain signs that God is going to give you guys, so it's very important that you pay attention to the signs in the very beginning when dating people, because people will tell you everything you need to know, but you have to make sure you're listening. That means not doing a lot of talking, not over talking, and just listening, making sure you're asking questions and listening. A lot of times as women, we go on about this, we go on about that, what we're looking for in a man, things that we've been through in our past relationships, so on and so forth. Ask the questions that you need to ask and just listen. Watch the person's actions and listen. They will tell you everything that you need to know, and God is going to highlight those signs if this is your person or not. And so, long story short, a lot of times when people aren't for you, they will tell on themselves, but sometimes we are too caught up in things like, looks, a person's success and things of that nature, how sexy a person is, all these different things that, they matter a little bit, but at the end of the day, if they're not sent from God, it really doesn't matter. And so we have to be very intentional about just listening to what a person has to say and make sure that you're asking these questions. And God is going to be able to highlight things to you based on their answers and based on their actions. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story. I don't know. I guess you can say this is bedtime chronicles / story time. I'm not sure if I've told this story before. If I had to guess, I would probably say no. So, there was a guy that I went to high school with, and he was a very attractive guy. He was a very, very attractive guy, nice chocolate skin, athletic, kind of built nice and thick. I like men with meat on their bones. I like men with meat on their bones. I feel like I've always been that way. I've dated a couple of skinny guys in the past, but I'm a woman with meat on my bones, so I tend to want to meet back. And I'm being silly. I mean, if God calls you to a skinny man at the end of the day, or a skinny woman, then that's what he calls you to. But I've always like men somewhat on a thicker side, not really out of shape, but just men that, they got some meat on their bones, and tall men because I'm a tall woman. And so there was this guy in high school, like I said, he had very dark chocolate skin, kind of thick. He was on a football team. And so he would always kind of tease me, but it wasn't quite a tease. I felt like he didn't like me as a person because his cousin was dating my best friend at the time in high school. And so my best friend, she was basically using the cousin because the cousin was, taking her out, paying for this, that, and the other. And she didn't have any good intentions by the guy. So my best friend would say to me anytime her and her then boyfriend, the cousin, anytime they went out anywhere to the movies, she would always ask me to come along with her and him because she didn't want to be alone with him because she didn't want him trying to, kiss her and all these different things. So I call myself being a good best friend, and I would go if I was available. And so the cousin that I liked, he would always ask, why are you always around them? Like, why don't you let them like be to themselves? And I just told him, he was looking out for his cousin. And so I just told him, like, this is what my best friend is asking me to do, XYZ. And so for that reason, I felt like he didn't like me. And then he was also in a relationship with a girl who I couldn't understand what he really seen in her. But I always had this secret crush on this guy. I mean, this went even through my adulthood. I had this crush, and I was always wondering if I was going to run into him again. And so, I would hear through other friends that we went to high school with that how they would see him around, how he was doing this, that, and the other. And he would ask about me every once in a while. And so now this is before we're out of high school. This is now in adulthood. I'm basically living in a world. So please keep that in mind. I always loved God, but I was not living for God. So like I said, adulthood, time goes on. And so one night I'm at the club with my friend. And so I run into some high school, I guess, associates, and these were like considered his cousins, his best friend. He had this guy, let's just say his name is Mike. Mike, he had a very tight close knit of friends. It was almost like they were brothers, if they were related or not. They had their own little clique from high school all the way through adulthood. Even now, they went into business together. A lot of them, they're doing extremely well for themselves. So I'm in the club with my friend, and so I run into one of his best friends. And I don't know how we were catching up. I don't know how we got on the subject of talking about Mike. But I just asked him how Mike was doing. And I was like, I think I said I heard like, he had gotten a divorce and he was doing this, he was doing that. And so I just asked him, like, well, what type of women do he like since he's no longer attached to anyone? And he was like, he like women like you. And I said, well, give him my number then. Give him my number because I had been having this long-term crush on this guy for all these years. And I didn't think this was going to go anywhere. I didn't think he was going to call me or anything like that. And so, I don't know. Part of me thought he might call. Part of me thought he wouldn't call. Like I said, I didn't think he liked me in high school, but that was a long time from high school. So I want to say maybe 2 or 3 days went by, and I had this number just constantly calling my phone, and I don't return calls when people are calling and they don't leave a message. So I think I had like took a nap or something. I woke up and I got another call, and the guy left a message. Mike, he left a message and he was saying, give me a call, get in touch with me. I want to talk to you. I was blown away. Because, like I said, I cannot tell you guys, I had been liking this guy for a long time, even though life happened in between. And so we end up talking. And so, like I said, him and his brothers, they went in business together. He ends up telling me, well, why don't you come hang out this Friday night at this venue? We're throwing this party. I think they had went into they had the brothers, they had went into like it wasn't like a catering business. It was something along those lines dealing with food, but it was a very successful business. And so it was at this really nice like winery or whatever the case may be. And so I go and, hadn't, like I said, I hadn't seen this guy since high school. He was working the event. So he was catering to me, and, working the event, catering to me. We were catching up in between. And I couldn't believe it because I never thought this moment would happen. Never thought this moment would happen. Just to have a crush on somebody that long, it was like, wow. And so we end up hanging out at the venue in between him working, coming to have conversation with me. We're catching up, doing this, doing that. It's obvious that this guy is feeling some type of way about me and he likes me. And so at the end of the night, we end up leaving a winery. He ends up walking me to my car. And so I proceed to leave. And then I'm not even 5 minutes away from the winery, and he ends up calling me, telling me, Jennifer, I have not been able to stop thinking about you. I want to see you. Let's not end a night or whatever the case may be. And to be honest, I'm always trying to see the good in everybody, thinking that they think like me. And so I was feeling some type of way about this guy. And so he was saying like, I don't want to end a night. Let's hang out tonight. Let's just hang out. So silly me, I end up going to his house. We end up talking, and of course, things end up happening. We're having conversation, things of that nature. Now, here's the biggie. Somehow we end up getting on talking about, I guess, religion and God and things of that nature. I don't know how the conversation started, but his response behind the whole thing, I was like, I love God, this, that, and the other. And his answer was, this was years ago, but his answer was basically, or his response was that he don't really believe in God like that. That should have been my clue to exit out of the situation because, like I said, even though I was living in the world, I was basically living, like they say, lukewarm, very lukewarm. I love God, but I was still doing all these worldly things. And so, like I said, when he basically made that comment that he does not really believe in God like that, that should have been my exit out because even though I was living in the world, I knew for a fact when I came together with my person, my husband, it was always going to be somebody that truly loved God. So I kind of let that comment go in one ear and out the other. Long story short, we continue to talk. We end up sleeping together. We end up sleeping together. And don't judge me. I'm sure many of you guys have been there or whatever the case may be. All of us, we've done things in the world, whatever it is what it is. But yeah, and of course things changed after that very dramatically. Once a guy gets whatever he wants on a sexual level, he's going to change. He's going to be very different. And so after that, him and his friends, they ended up having this really big event. And by this time, I've opened myself up to him. And so now I really like him because we had so much bedroom chemistry and all these things. They end up having this really a big event, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to make sure I'm looking good for this guy because, like, I really, really like him. And so he traveled a lot for work. So we didn't see each other a whole lot like that. But like I said, after um, the encounter happened, things were just different with us. And this is primary reason why you should never sleep with anyone that you're not married to. And like I said, I'm sure a lot of women, they've been there. But I'm like, I got to be looking really good for this event. This is going to be a huge event. It's going to be a lot of people at this event. So I get this really nice, and this is before like I met my kingdom spouse or anything. But I got this really nice, like sexy dress. I got my hair done really nice, like weave down my back. Had this form fitting dress, got my makeup professionally done. Like, this was the best. Like, I was well put together so good to the point where people were asking me when I walked into that event, they thought I was a celebrity. Like, I was getting tons of compliments. Several men were trying to get with me, so on and so forth. I did that all for him because, again, I'm really feeling this guy, but he's working the event. I'm at this event, and um, I didn't really see him a whole lot at the event because I kind of felt like he had another woman there as well. When a man is not in a relationship, he's able to, like, I don't know, that's just kind of what I feel. But when a man is not in a relationship, he's able to say, I'm not in a relationship. This is my friend. That's my friend, whatever the case may be. But I put myself together for him because I really liked him. And like I said, I didn't see him a whole lot at the event, even though he invited me as his guest. He was working this event. But after that, it was just almost like I just knew he was going to be around. I was making plans for him to be around. But it drastically changed after we slept together. But the point for this video is to say this: those of you guys who don't know who your kingdom spouse is, now it's already a given. You should not be sleeping with anyone because, number one, that God doesn't call us to fornicate. It's a sin for us to fornicate. We already know that. We're no longer living in a world. We're living for our Heavenly Father. We're doing things in a decent order, in a decent way. And so we already know that we're not supposed to be sleeping with anybody. But the point for this video is to tell you guys this: people will give you signs early on, like I said in the beginning, if you just listen and do. It's not to say don't do any talking at all, but make sure you're listening and allow them to talk more than you talk. So it has to be a balance. Like I said, sometimes us women, when we really like a man, we can open up, talk about this, talk about that. And sometimes we give too much of ourselves away too soon. So hopefully that helps somebody out there. I don't know how many women watch this channel that don't know who their kingdom spouse is. But again, we're not sleeping with anybody. That is something that I know that God has really called me to about really sharing with women. Do not sleep with a man before marriage. As they say, the old saying goes, once the man get the cow, what is the saying? Once the man get the milk, why should he buy the cow? Something like that. So I think I got that right. But you guys know what I'm saying. So just listen. It's going to be signs in the very beginning that if this person is for you or not. You're going to be able to see the God in them. If they start, saying things against God, you automatically know that is a red flag and that person is not for you. Now, here's another quick story. After a situation was done with Mike, this was, I don't know, maybe a couple years down the line or something like that. I'm not really sure. But I met another guy. And so, again, nice chocolate guy, very well put together, very handsome. Now, by this time, I had broken up with my kingdom spouse. I had broken up with my kingdom spouse, and this is when God told me something very important when I met this man. But I met this guy, and so we ended up going out. He was a divorced man, and he had like three daughters. And so we went out, and we seemed to hit it off really well. And he was like, very handy with his hands when it comes to doing projects and stuff like around the house. And that was something that I really like appreciated about this guy. But he was just really nice. He was really into me. Wanted to hop in a relationship maybe after 2 or 3 weeks of, I guess, getting to know each other. I didn't hop in a relationship with him because I felt like I had been down that road too many times with men where I'm agreeing to be in a relationship too soon. But we're dating. And so, like I said, he wanted to become serious and get in a relationship. It was some red flags with him when it came to his daughters. I'm the type of person, I love kids. I prefer not to date somebody that has kids, but I love kids. If I have to date somebody with kids, I really didn't want anyone more than one child. So that's another thing, not really sacrificing your beliefs, but you have to check with God on that, because your beliefs may not always be lined up with what God wants for your life. So, but he had three girls, and basically he spoiled the girls, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I didn't like that he spoiled the girls to the point it was no responsibility when it came to ordering a house. It was just no chores or anything like that. He just kind of let those girls do whatever that they wanted to do. Let's just say I got into a relationship with this guy, married a guy. I could never be the type of stepmom that's going to allow a child to just do whatever they want to do. I knew, so that for me, that was a red flag. So these are things that we have to pay attention to, not sacrificing ourselves, not sacrificing our beliefs when it comes to meeting new people. Again, we have to take this stuff back to God, because what we believe, what we don't believe, God may have something different in mind for us. We may be called to be a blessing to somebody, but again, we got to take it back to God. So, like I said, we're dating. And so this guy, he wanted to get serious. And unfortunately, I was tied up a lot with my business, and I had learned my lesson one too many times not to hop in a fast relationship with men. So I agreed we would, keep getting to know each other, keep dating, going out, but I didn't want to jump into a relationship this soon, even though, I liked him and things like that. And so, wow. And so, like I said, I was busy because of my business. And so I was like, I think I want to start going to Bible study. Haven't been a Bible study in a while. I want to start getting back into the habit of going to Bible study. His response was to that, basically, if I'm going to make time for Bible study, I should really use that time to spend more time with him. I should not be going to Bible study. I felt very offended. I felt like he was offending God. And not only that, early on when we had first started talking, he told me that he didn't go to church. I wanted to say his spiritual belief was a Muslim. And my thing is, right there, it raised a red flag for me, because in my mind, again, I thought when I came together with my person, my spouse, we would be in the same spiritual homes together, the same church, the same building, worshiping the Lord together. But his thing was, he's fine with having a different spiritual belief. You can do your thing and I can do my thing. I know a number of couples like that. I don't agree with it. That raised a red flag for me early on, but I chose to ignore it. So again, a person will tell you what you need to know early on, but are you going to let it slide? Are you going to let it pass and just keep moving along because you're really wanting to just date somebody. Like, I was never pressed to, date any man or anything like that. But, I was liking a guy or whatever. I thought it was nice to go out and things like that. I had just broken up with my kingdom spouse not long ago. My kingdom spouse had moved on and was doing his thing. And I'm like, even though I still cared for my kingdom spouse, like, I was still heartbroken. This was very fresh after the breakup. I was very heartbroken over my kingdom spouse, but I was pushing myself to get out there and date because I felt like I needed to get over him. And I said, he's dating. I need to get over him. I'm not just going to sit around and wish and hope that this is going to work out. Big mistake. Big mistake. So, long story short, this second guy, let's just say his name is Brian. So, Brian, after he ends up telling me, I think you need to be spending more time with me and basically entertaining our situation more than thinking about going to Bible study. That was another red flag. So I felt like he disrespected God. I was highly offended, more so for God, because I couldn't even believe he let those words come out of his mouth. So I ended up telling him, after thinking for maybe a couple of days, that I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think it was going to work because I couldn't get past that comment. And maybe that was God just really highlighting, this is not it. This is not it. And so before I had that talk with him, I was prepping myself to talk to him because I knew this guy really liked me. Like, he was already making plans for us to spend the holidays and everything together. I was in my car one day and I clearly heard God say, maybe you shouldn't date for a while. Maybe you shouldn't date right now. So that was God prepping me. This guy is not it. And don't even date anybody else right now because I'm getting ready to prepare you for something else. And so I ended up talking to the guy and letting him know I didn't think it was going to work because of XYZ with the comment he made. We're living a different spiritual life. And so, of course, his whole demeanor kind of changed after, like, his true self came out after that. So that's another thing. But I just say all this just to say, once again, those of you guys who you don't know who your kingdom spouse is and you're out here dating or however you choose to do things, just be very conscious of what you're taking in terms of information, because again, God is going to highlight if this person is not for you. Do these people have the heart of God? Do they have the heart of God? That's what you have to ask yourself in every situation. Do they have the heart of God? So that is just food for thought and something for you guys to think about. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments. Yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, I don't know if it's people out there. Some people, God has maybe told you it's okay for you to go out and date and you're going to probably meet your kingdom spouse soon. Some of us, we already know who the kingdom spouse is, so dating is totally off limits. But again, be mindful of what these people are saying, the information that they're sharing with you, and asking yourself, do they have the heart of God? If they are trying to discourage you from spending time with God, if they are, they're very dismissive when it comes to talking about God and they're not interested, that you're a believer, that you serve your heavenly Father, this is not the person for you. This is not the person for you. So again, do they have the heart of God? That is what you want to ask yourself. So yeah, guys, I would love to know what you guys think in the comments. I may do more story times at night. We'll see. But I'll talk to you guys later. This is your girl, Jennifer Lynn, the Crown Jewel. Until next time.